What's up, YouTube? We have figured it out. Let's get right into the content. So I'm going to tell you the number one thing you need to know to make the best possible build in 2K25. Now, if you're brand new to the builder, I'm going to give you the long story short. You basically pick your position, you pick what kind of build you want to make. You want to make a dunker, well-rounded, two-way, defender, whatever it may be. And then you come in here, you pick your attributes according to your animation and badge thresholds that you want to hit, which the badges are listed on the right side of the screen, and you can see your animations in the tester. Now, that's yesterday's news. That's the basics of how to make a good build, right? But what I've figured out is the key to making an over-the-top fantastic build this year. And it does revolve around the cap breakers. Now, if you're not going to play My Career a whole lot, honestly, 200,000 VC is a lot to throw into a build to not play. But if you are going to play, you are almost guaranteed going to get those 5 first cap breaker points. So let's just imagine there are 5 more attribute points in here. Here is the key. I'll explain it right now. So say this build right here would revolve around being able to dunk. In fact, we're going to remake it, right? So this build, we're going to say, okay, I want to dunk, I want to shoot threes, but I want high pass hack, and I want to play a little bit of defense. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So what's the number one skill you want to revolve it around? So I say, okay, the number one skill I want to revolve this around is three-pointer. That's the thing I want Hall of Fame badges in three-pointer, right? I want Hall of Fame Deadeye, Hall of Fame Limitless. This is where I want to be right here. Okay, cool. And then you go and well, first of all, you look at everything that's being pushed up by that 3-point rating, right? So let's say this is what you're doing. You go, okay, now let me take care of my dunk. And I want an 89 dunk, right? Okay, because I can get contact dunks and all that stuff. Okay, I don't want to be throwing beach balls and getting locked down, stealing everything. So let's say an 80 is a nice sweet spot for you to do that. I want all the dribble moves, every single one, right? So I'm going to get a 92 ball handle and a 91 speed with ball for Hall of Fame lightning launch. And I can put that, I think you can put that to legend with the other badge. All right, cool. So defensively, I just want to be able to hold my own. Cool. So let's go ahead and get to, so, okay. So right now we have a 76 defense. We can't do anything more, right? And so we're not, so, okay. So our build is shut down, right? However, thing about this is this attribute rating is taking up so much of our overall, right? So right now, for example, we can't get contact dunks because we don't have a high enough vertical. But if I put this down 1, oop, look at how much contact dunk I get, right? If I put this down 1 more, oop, look at how much defense I get. And now I get silver challenger. And now the build, and I can also now here throw this into my standing dunk to get some more animations. And I can get my free throw as high as possible. That is a makeable free throw. Okay, so now the build is perfect. And you're saying, but Books, we are, you know, this is a good 3-point shooter, but he's not the over-the-top great 3-point shooter that I wanted. However, with the cap breakers, you're going to get it. Why is it important to put the cap breakers there? Because there's no way for the cap breaker to give you all of that vertical, right? Or all of that, what else do we put up? Perimeter defense, right? The cap breaker can't do that, but it can give you 1 or 2 attribute points in 3-pointer. So the secret is you want to revolve your cap breakers around skills in the 90s. Do not put cap breakers around skills in like the 80s and the 70s, because if you have a skill in the 90s, you want to use that skill in the 90s to feed that other attribute point, knowing that you'll get that skill in the 90s back in the first 5 cap breakers. Now, if you're not a super sweat, the other 10 cap breakers are not guaranteed. But even if you're just a normal player, you are going to get that. Now, if you don't plan to ever hit those cap breakers, I mean, honestly, this is still a good build, right? There's nothing wrong with this build. But if you're not sure how much you're going to be playing, make a build like this where you say, okay, if I don't play this build like all the time, I'm not playing the game hardcore like that. I'm not going to get the cap breakers. This is still a great build, right? It can dribble, it can pass, it can shoot. The defense is solid. No steal, obviously. But if you are going to get those cap breakers, then use that high 90s and say, I will I will bide my time with a decent jumper like so, and say I can put now my steel all the way up to 73 and get silver interceptor, right? Knowing that I'm going to get these 3 badge points back relatively soon because people seem to be repping up a little faster than last year. So I do think this is a situation where you can, get this sort of thing. So that's it. That is my tip for the builder. That's the main thing. It's not just the fact everybody knows there's cap breakers in the game, but specifically you want to take your highest skill, your peak skill, and use those last super expensive attribute points to feed the rest of your build. If you do that and you plan on playing a lot of my career, being in the rec, being in the park and all that stuff, this will elevate your build tremendously rather than gobbling up those high points early on. And then in a few weeks, you're putting those points into something like pass accuracy, which is in the 80s, right? You could have afforded that. Maybe, you're trying to get you put it into agility, you're pushing it into the 80s. You could have afforded that. So I'm not saying to make this build. I'm giving you guys what you need to make the build that will give you a whole lot of success in the game. But if you did want to make this build, I think this build is absolutely 100% viable, and it gets beyond viable if you were to take the cap breakers and just literally throw all of them in a 3-pointer. You get all of these Hall of Fame badges and you're just, out of your mind good, right? Now you might say, okay, I want to start with the gold limitless. Okay, cool. So then you make that sacrifice and you sacrifice whatever you want. But long story short, your ability to get these Hall of Fame and Legend badges while also feeding the rest of your build, that's the key. That's the secret. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. I will see y'all in the next one. I'm out.